So it's great to be here with you guys today. We're talking about budgeting. What do you guys want to know?
So what is a budget?
It's a very good question. I think there's a lot of confusion about what a budget actually is. I think it's just a record of your money. It's where you're bringing your finances all together in one place so you can see what's coming in and going out. And that's so helpful because knowledge is power. And if you know what's going on with your finances, you can make better decisions about your finances. And as time goes on, you'll just get in the habit of budgeting. And for me, that's just checking in with your money on a regular basis so you know what's happening, you're not in the dark, and then you can just improve your finances as time goes on. So I think, yes, it's about having a record of your money, but it's also about being in the budgeting habit. And I think it's a lot like a seesaw. So on one side of the seesaw, you've got your income, which is your wages and benefits you receive. And on the other side of this seesaw, you've got all your outgoings, which are your essential bills and money for the fun stuff in life. And what you want to achieve is a nice balance so that the seesaw is just like this in the middle and it's not tipping down on one side where you've got lots of money going out of your account but not enough money coming in. So that's the aim of budgeting, to have the seesaw just nicely balanced there in the middle.
So what's the best way to work out a budget?
Well, obviously you've got to understand the difference between your outgoings and your income. But if we're going to break it down further, I'd say it's really important to understand the difference between your essential bills and the money for fun stuff. So thinking about your essential bills, that's likely to include your housing costs, i.e. your rent, council tax, utility bills, which basically means your gas, electricity and water. And also if you've got internet at home, your broadband, if you've got a phone, your landline, and your mobile phone, because that's an essential bill these days, right? And alongside that, you also have to think about your food costs, because we can't live without food, but it's potentially going to be quite a big expense, but there are lots of ways that you can really reduce your food costs. I think the biggest one is just trying to make your own meals as much as possible rather than getting expensive takeaways every night. And then besides your essential bills, you've got your disposable income, and that's the money that you use for all the fun stuff in life. Now, what you spend that on is entirely your choice, and it's about you deciding what matters to you. You might think, I really can't live without X, but I think I could do without Y. And that's fine, that's up to you. I guess the name of the game is to make sure your spending on that stuff doesn't get in the way of you paying your essential bills, because the really important thing to remember about your bills is that you have to pay them no matter what. If you don't, then, for instance, you could be evicted by your landlord if you fall behind on your rent. And also, if you don't keep up with your bills, then they will affect something called your credit score, and that's a really important number that's used by financial companies to decide whether you can access certain products and get good deals. So it's really important to protect your credit score, and you can do that by making sure you pay all your bills on time. So yeah, it's all about achieving that balance again between paying your bills and having a little bit of money to enjoy yourself.
What tips do you have to keep on top of your budget?
Well, it really depends on what your own preference is. I think it's really great if you have a phone and you're comfortable using your phone, you can find a lot of shortcuts. So for instance, you can download a banking app, and that will provide you with a budgeting tool that will link up to a debit card. So if you go to the supermarket and get your weekly shop and you use your debit card to pay for that, that will automatically show up on your banking app, and it will be included in a category relating to your food shopping. So it's doing the budgeting for you. It's so helpful because you're already seeing where your money is going, and then you can make better decisions. Alternatively, you could just download a budgeting app, and that will link up to your bank account, and it will look at all your spending and put it into different categories, and that will help you budget too. Or you could go online and download a budgeting template, and you can do it the old-fashioned way as well. You could just write down on a piece of paper, here's what I'm spending on this, this and this, and here's the income that I'm getting. You can just use a calculator and toss it all up, and you could also use a spreadsheet online. So it really depends on what works for you. I think the most important thing is that you stick with it, and if it's not working for you, try something else, because if you aren't going to stick to it, then you're just going to fall out of the habit of budgeting, and that's not good. It's about what you feel most comfortable with, because if you then get in the habit of using that method, then you're going to stick with it and you're going to be in the budgeting habit, which is great.
Thank you for coming today. I'm hoping it will be useful for other young people out there.
And I very much appreciate it for you coming in, and it's been helpful for me.
Oh, you're absolutely welcome. Thank you for having me along.
Thank you.